Alright, this I knew. With another lecture. This one is on the Fraternal Order of Police. So first we got to start off with Freemasonry and the Ku Klux Klan. We're going to start off with Albert Pike, Chief of Justice of KKK and Freemason leader. Here we see the Ku Klux Klan's Masonic origins. It was founded in Pulaski, Tennessee in 1866 by 6 Confederate officers. One of them, in the first Imperial Wizard of the KKK, was a former Confederate general and Freemason, Nathan Bedford Forrest. Albert Pike held the office of Chief Justice of the KKK while he was simultaneously Sovereign Grand Commander of the Scottish Rite of Masonry in the Southern jurisdiction. Everywhere we turn nowadays, we are seeing the occult connection between New World Order organizations, especially in false religious denominations. The KKK was known as the Invisible Empire of the South. In 1869, General Forrest ordered the empire to disband because of the extreme violence. 1915 was the rebirth of the KKK. Just after the film The Rebirth of a Nation, where the Klansmen were romantically portrayed as heroes who had preserved the moral fiber and the character of America. This time, another Mason, W.J. Simmons, was the architect. By the mid-1920s, they controlled some states such as Indiana, from the courthouse to the state house. Almost all of the top officials of the revived Klan were also Masons. With a total of 5 million members, most of the Masons and white Protestants, with several senators and governors. By 1944, the KKK collapsed in a storm of corruption, murder, rape, and torture. Today, there are a few thousand left, very divided. Each one wants to be a grand wizard of basically nothing. So we think. So the police and slavery connection. Black people never see an end to white racism and police brutality. The police system in its beginnings on slave plantations, the word officer is connected to the word overseer. The overseers beat the slaves with paddles, so the slaves began to call the men paddy rollers, which is where the word patrol comes from. This is depicted in the movie Mandingo starring Ken Norton. Police are modern-day slave catchers. This is why they are referred to as cops. The word cop comes from the Hebrew word which means to capture. The Fraternal Order of Police is a racist Masonic organization, and many police officers are secret members of the Ku Klux Klan, a white organization started by Freemasons. Even the word police came from the word politic. So what is the purpose of the police? You probably already guessed it: to serve and protect white powers and white supremacy in this political system. And this is from a book, Dividing Lines. Even more significant for city officials was the reaction of the city's own employees. On October 11th, the Association of City Employees presented the mayor and the council with a resolution warning against the dangerously detrimental effect which hiring Negroes for the classified service of the city will have on already burdened loyal city employees. It denounced outside pressures and agitation by those not citizens of our city who are not directly affected by a breakdown in efficient city services. And it concluded, we are convinced that the employment of Negroes in any of the classified job positions in the city service will destroy the pride and dedication of the city employees generally. This frank assertion of racial prejudice was followed on October 15th by equally strong opposition from the Federal Order of Police, headed by the same officer who had killed Johnny Robinson 4 weeks earlier. the FOP sent a 30-member delegation to a city council meeting to give the councilors a statement proclaiming angrily, "Policemen are professional men and are not pawns to be thrown to the wolves to satisfy the demands of outside agitators." Would the businessman advocating the hiring of Negroes as policemen be willing to set the example by hiring Negroes as tellers for their banks, salespeople for their stores, secretaries for their offices, or other such positions in their businesses? Clearly, the officers thought the idea of employing blacks in such occupations completely preposterous. With the hiring of Negro policemen, it will make it more difficult to get young, qualified career men to apply for the position of patrolmen, they asserted. And in any case, if you abolish your civil service laws to satisfy the demands of outside Negro leaders, your city will likely become a city of corruption and decay in a very short time. This will be absolute blackmail. It may be true that the failure to hire Negro policemen could be the excuse for the demonstrations in Birmingham. However, if they, the black leaders, didn't have this for an excuse, they will find another. So they was totally against us joining the police force because they had already had their organization set. Now, this is from another book, In the Name of Hate, Understanding Hate Crimes. In recent years, police complicity with white supremacist activities also has taken form of implicit or explicit support for Klan rallies and similar gatherings. This is manifest in a variety of ways. Failure to police such rallies, off-duty police providing security for the rallies, police cordoning of Klan parades and activities, and at the extreme, the forcible suppression of anti-Klan demonstrators. Across the country, law enforcement agents have made their sympathies apparent by aiming their brutality at those resisting white supremacist activity. Given the tendencies for the Klan or Aryan Nation rallies, for example, to lead to violence, this failure to prevent Klan activities is ultimately enabling. It clears the way for hate groups to engage in cross burnings, harassment, and assaults with little fear of police reprisals. Some officers of the state are so much in agreement with the ideologies of the supremacists that they become members themselves, some threatened by change and by difference. See, this is an active means by which to discover the hegemonic place of white heterosexual males. Their joint status is part of the repressive arm of the state, and as a white supremacist provides affirmation to them and to their peers that they are true American patriots ready to engage in violence in order to stem the tide of civil rights advances for minorities. Consequently, these officers are as likely to engage in violence themselves as they are to condone the ethno-violence engaged in by others. Consider the following examples. I didn't put those, but they had some examples of events. But hell, you can look at today's events and see, peaceful protests turn into riots because of the police. Okay, this is from a book, African American Police Officers in Racism, Black and Blue. Century to the 1970s, many police officers were active members of white supremacist organizations such as the Ku Klux Klan. Now we're getting further closer to our day. This is the 1970s. And participated in mainly openly violent attacks on African Americans or winked while other whites carried out this violence. This participating included not only rank and file officers, but also police chiefs and sheriffs, especially in border states, in the southern states, and southern areas of some northern states. In more recent decades, white officers in all regions have been implicated in various forms of discrimination against African Americans and occasionally in organized white supremacist activity. Thus, as we discussed in Chapter 6, organization is a strategy of resistance of black officers, often considered necessary to combat continuing racial hostility and discrimination in policing. In the respondents' experiences, whites often respond to such active organization with fear or anger, as if they are threatened by efforts of African Americans to improve their lot. Indeed, whites have frequently attacked black officers' unions as unnecessary. The Fraternal Order of Police and the Police Benevolent Association have historically served the interests of their white members well. Whether intentionally or not, these organizations have generally allowed entrenched racist ideologies and practices to be perpetuated without working actively to eradicate them. So I got this straight off the Fraternal Order of Police website. This is their little logo or whatever. And on their website, they have a breakdown. I'm finna read. I'm about to read the breakdown of this shit right here. Midway between the points in the center of the star is a blue field representative of the thin blue line protecting those who we serve. Blue and gold are the Freemasons' favorite colors. That is why there is a gold fringe around the flag in every U.S. courtroom. The points are of gold, which indicates the position under which we are now serving. The background is white, the unstained color representing the purity which we should serve. We shall not let anything corrupt be injected into our order. Therefore, our colors are blue, gold, and white. Now, I highlighted this for a reason. The color white is purity. I mean, I heard that before from the Moorish nation. And of course, I was gonna sip my tea on that. Now, I got this from a book called The Klux Klan and Related American Racialist and Anti-Semitic Organizations, a History and Analysis. Now let's go what they say about the flag. The flag portrayed at all Klan's meetings is the American flag. The color red symbolizes blood. The white symbolizes the purity of white womanhood. And the blue symbolizes the skies of freedom which are over the land. The stars represent the undefeated states bound together in an inseparable union. Now you see where this white is purity coming from. Now you see why they was always killing niggas for talking to their women and shit like that. The robe, which is the fourth symbol of the Ku Klux Klan, depicts purity through its white color. The robe hides the man from others. He is judged as a Klansman, not by his financial status, the type of clothes he wears, or his individual personality. The robe signifies righteousness of Christ and Christianity to the Klansman. The Klansman covers his own desecrated spirit of imperfection and becomes as one in the body, the soul, and the living spirit of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. The Klansman has used many varieties of uniforms through Klan history. Originally, white sheets were the robes, and conical hats were covered with the same material. And that was going to get into the mask and shit. It was going to say white is purity again. Now back to the website. They're breaking down the rest of the symbol. The open eye is the eye of vigilance, ever looking for danger and protecting all those under its care while they sleep or while awake. The collapsed hands denote friendship. This represents a free Masonic secret grip or handshake. The hand of friendship is always extended to those in need of our comfort. The circle surrounding the star midway indicates our never-ending efforts to promote the welfare and advancement of this order. This is very similar to the circle used in occult orders like the witchcraft pentagram or satanic pentagram. Within the half circle over the centerpiece is our motto, Justice Libertatum, which means law is a safeguard of freedom. The checkered floor is something found in most Masonic lodges around the world, which means their belief of balance of good and evil, evil being necessary, of course. Another Masonic example is the yin yang. And this is that was submitted onto the website by Brother Dennis McGowan of the Kings County, New York Law Enforcement Lodge number 38. Now, we're going to take a look at America's ghost problem, racist ghost skins infiltrating U.S. institutions. And they got this little map right here of all the hate groups that's infiltrated institutions. You can look this up online. Just type in hate map on Google or some shit. That shit might come up. Since coming to law enforcement attention in late 2004, the term ghost skins has gained currency among white supremacists to describe those who avoid overt displays of their beliefs to blend into society and covertly advance white supremacist causes. That's why when those dudes get exposed or whatever, they always get kicked out of the groups, suspended from the police force, all that. Because they were supposed to be convert. Like, they were supposed to be in disguise. Why they doing this shit? One internet posting described this effort as a form of role-playing, in which to create the character you must get inside the mind of the person you are trying to duplicate. Such role-playing has application to ad hoc and organized law enforcement infiltration. At least one white supremacist group has reportedly encouraged ghost skins to seek positions in law enforcement for the compatibility of alerting skinhead crews of pending investigative action against them. This is an excerpt from a 2006 FBI warning. So here we got a picture here. This is a Klan's meeting inside a National Guard facility. And I forgot what state this is in, but this was like 1928. And it's showing that they already had connection to the National Guard. Now you got Klansmen here meeting freely in front of the police department, talking to like some teenagers, probably giving them pamphlets, trying to get them to join and shit. They recruiting right there in front of the police department. Now this look like an old photo, but it's not. This is actually Ferguson. This shit look like you looking back in time. And what this dude got on his sign right here, support your local police. Let's go 60 years into the past right here. Look what this dude got, support your local police. And you got the police right here protecting the Klan's members. Ain't nothing changed at all. You can barely tell the difference of the time frame with the pictures. And you got another picture here. You know what I'm saying? You got the policemen lined up with the KKK taking family photos and shit. The note on the back of this photograph, Burns says, indicates the men pictured along the Ku Klux Klan are members of the Pennsylvania State Police. The anti-immigrant white supremacist group had reached the peak of its influence during the 1920s, counting scores of politicians and power brokers, even a handful of governors and U.S. senators among his reputed members. In 1924, 40,000 uniformed Klan members marched down Washington's Pennsylvania Avenue. And it's a big ass. You could probably find that picture online. It looked like the Million Man March, except with damn Klan suits. Wasn't no kind of repercussions done. And you got this. This is 1964. KKK members and civil rights protesters in Atlanta. A police officer stands guard as the Ku Klux Klansmen protesting a desegregated hotel pass a group of African Americans protesting a segregated restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? They support this shit. That same police station from earlier, they going in there. Probably put their uniforms back on. This shit been infiltrated for the longest. And you got here Chief Kluxers tell law enforcement officers just what mystic organization purposes to do in the city of Portland. So they telling the laws what the fuck they finna do. Now here go everybody favorite man right here. Here go man of the year, Donald Trump. Police groups endorse of Trump stirs debate among ranks. Now look where he talking at. According to Trump, he ain't know nothing about white supremacist groups or nothing like that. But that man's smarter than that. Look where the fuck he talking at. The Fraternal Order of Police. That's that same symbol I was talking about earlier, right there on the wall behind him. So he can play as dumb as he want to on the news and on Twitter and shit. That nigga know damn well what he was doing. The FOP has a history of backing Republicans. The recent exception was Bill Clinton during his re-election in 1996 after the crime bill of 1994 paid for the hiring of thousands of new officers across the country. The only time the group hasn't endorsed a presidential candidate in its 102-year history was 2012, when neither Republican Mitt Romney nor Democrat Barack Obama was seen as a friendly enough to its cause. Several leaders among black police groups said they considered the FOP endorsement to be a reflection of an organization dominated by whites who are insensitive to the needs of black communities and black officers. Now, with that being said, we all heard about the incident Donald Trump's father was into, and that was blown off as a rumor. So I just want to show you, I got this from the New York Times, published June 1st, 1927. Warren criticizing class parades. Police head declares neither fascists nor Klan had any place in Memorial March. Klan assails policemen. Okay. He made this known in discussing the disorders incident to the Memorial Parade when the two fascists were killed on their way to join a detachment of black shirts in the Manhattan Parade, and 1,000 Klansmen and 100 policemen staged a free-for-all battle in Jamaica. Okay, the prisoners are arranged. The 7 men arrested in the near ride of the parade were arraigned before Magistrate Thomas F. Doyle in Jamaica Court. The attorneys for the men were Dana Wallace and ex-judge Edgar F. Hazelton of Gray Snyder fame. Judge Hazelton is a prominent member of the Knights of Columbus, that's the Ku Klux Klan, and is a former president of the Holy Name Society of Queens. Now we look up here. Fred Trump of 17424 Devonshire Road, Jamaica, was discharged for $500. And that just shows you he was involved in that whole incident and he was discharged. I couldn't read this whole article. That shit would have took all day. But, you know, the proof is there. Then we got 2 more officers. I think these was the dudes in Florida who were recently kicked off the police force. Because, like I said, they were supposed to be working covertly. You know, as soon as you would get exposed, you kicked out. Here go another officer in Louisiana. He was fired after a photo of him at the Ku Klux Klan rally in North Carolina surfaced. And he said the picture speaks for itself. I'm standing at a rally against illegal immigration. There's not much to be said about the picture. I never denied it was me. He didn't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? They gonna take care of him anyways. No, so here goes some of the badges that we need to look out for. These aren't the exact badges you will see on each one. You got a Dallas Police right here, Houston. There's actually a lodge. I think it's on the side of 45 going into Houston. You'll see a Fraternal Order of Police lodge. Now here's that FBI information that I had mentioned earlier. I took that excerpt from. This is the actual unclassified information. The Ku Klux Klan, KKK, is notable among white supremacist groups for historically having found support in many communities, which often translated into ties into local law enforcement. Now, why haven't they cracked down on that shit? I'm finna tell you why. And I made this video real quick on purpose. You know, I didn't really want to get too much into this. I was advised not to even do this video. But I did it just because I was advised not to do it. The blue wall of silence symbolizes the loyalty among police officers within the force. To maintain this loyalty, an officer may be forced to neglect the presence of police brutality, which can hurt the victims by preventing them from getting justice. Moreover, the blue wall of silence and police brutality have been and continue to be protected and facilitated by the police culture. Code and police corruption stems from the mid to late 19th century. Now, this is a code that they got with each other called the blue wall of silence. That no matter what the fuck goes on, if it has to do with incriminating a police officer, they're not going to say a motherfucking thing. The Pinkerton National Detective Agency was known for using police officers to violently end strikes. Many members of the Ku Klux Klan were police officers who protected each other when conducting racist acts. So they used this unwritten code of the blue wall of silence to protect each other. That's why, you know, the FBI will investigate that shit, but they really not going to do nothing about it because of this blue wall of silence. This later gave rise to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which gave new protection to the victims who had long suffered discriminatory policing, which is basically a pacifier, you know, to rock niggas back to sleep because you see the shit still going on. You know, this was a quick video of the Fraternal Order of Police. You know, I want to thank everybody for watching this. Next time you get pulled over, check them badge patches, get a badge number, protect yourself.